Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Ustad Uzair, the President of Jama'athe Islami and members of the Jama'at. Venerable members of the clergy, of course this includes members of all faiths, and of course should I say both genders, because we have with us a Maulavi also, and of course distinguished invitees who share the values of Jama'athe Islami, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum, may the peace and blessings of Almighty Allah be with you. Before I commence, you will permit me to take note of some icons in the audience. May I acknowledge the presence of Mufti Yusuf Mufti, one of my spiritual guardians. Thank you, sir, for coming. We also have with us an icon, our elder statesman, Al-Haj Fauzi, Hafiz Nazir, whose Hafizship I always envied. Of course, Mr. Umar Kamil, one-time mayor, and the former Supreme Judge, Mr. Masuf, who was one of my juniors at one time, but who has now excelled and overtaken me in every field. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, may I begin by thanking the Jamaat for your kind invitation and for the kind introduction. But may I say that it's certainly a privilege to be associated with you today on the 70th anniversary of the founding of your association. May I also congratulate the President, Ustad Uzair, and members of the Executive Committee. Of course, 70 years of service is what we must acknowledge. May I praise Almighty Allah for giving them the opportunity of serving us, and may I accept their services. May I, apart from congratulating them, wish them all success and all blessings of the Almighty Allah in future. Having said that, I have also listened to a dissertation, a presentation rather, on the activities of Jama'athe Islami, to realize that it is a multi-pronged association. I was trying to fix a label. It's difficult to fix a label. It is hybrid, if I may say so, but covers various aspects of life. On the one hand, it is religious. It conforms to the religious values. On the other hand, it also looks to sustainable development, take the message of Islam to the youth, to the educated youth, and serve the community also by sustainable development. And above all, take into account the fact that we in Islam have a special jurisprudence dealing with how minorities should live with the majority. So we don't feel uncomfortable. Jama'athe Islam projects these values of communal harmony, of service to the nation, sustainable development, and environment. So we look forward to their leadership. I am reminded of the fact that although we are joyous in their celebrations, we are also meeting today with a heavy heart. We cannot forget for a moment of what is happening in Gaza. I came across the shortest khutbah ever delivered, a 5-second khutbah by the Imam of Gaza. He took the mimbar, he walked slowly to the mimbar, and he said, at that point of time, he said, several hundreds dead. Several hundreds of millions injured. And he said, what can I say to you? How can I move the Ummah? If you have not responded to that, what effect will my words say? So that was the indictment of the Ummah, indictment of all humanity, because this is followed up by, or rather preceded by, the pastor of the church at Bethlehem on Christmas Eve, who said, he said so with a lot of passion. He said, the world is watching. We're all watching, but they're suffering in Palestine, in Gaza. So that is an indictment of all of us. So collectively, we should now look to organizations such as Jama'athe Islami to provide us with leadership, because I also, in my perhaps because of my old age and my sight, I didn't witness, I didn't observe the Honorable Karuja Sure, who is here today. Sir, we are grateful to you. You are a symbol of national unity, and therefore it is all fitting that you should be here today. Welcome, sir. That's entirely lapse on my part. Perhaps, sir, forgive me, perhaps my old age is catching up on me. Having said that, I recollected what the pastor said at Bethlehem and Imam said at Gaza. The focus is on the fact that we have failed. So organizations such as as Jamaat, which provides leadership, should try to provide answers from within the Islamic system. That's our contribution. We have lost that, the ability and the desire to do that. We have lost our dignity. For instance, we talk of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. May I ask you, what is the greatest document ever of human rights? Prophet's message at Arafat. It covers everything. The Prophet's message at Arafat, nothing is left out. If you look at it carefully, it covers every aspect of human life. Then in regard to constitutional guarantees, the Charter at Medina, the very first constitution, guaranteed rights to minorities as well. So we should look at it. Now we talk of poverty alleviation. We have two instruments, zakat, one, and also sadaqah. We practice both. They're absolutely effective instruments of poverty alleviation. So the point I'm seeking to make is, brothers and sisters, that we should now turn the searchlight inwards. Let us seek to find answers within the Islamic system. That is our contribution to humanity. And Jama'at Islam, which is all-embracing, which has among its objectives national unity, Muslims do not find it uncomfortable to live in minority areas, minority religions, because we are a peaceful, peace-loving people. We can interact with anybody. Of course, there are dark times, but those are passing phenomenon. We in Sri Lanka, let's commit ourselves to sustainable development as one of the objectives is of the Islami, of the Jamaat, and say to ourselves that communalism is a maypole which we have danced around for 75 years, so nearly 70 years, with disastrous consequences. Other nations have overtaken us. It is bodies like Jama'at Islam, which are multidimensional and multicultural and looks at issues from a national perspective with an Islamic contribution. These are the organizations that serve us in the future. May Almighty Allah bless the organization in every way. May He bless His leadership. May our prayers be with them. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you very much for inviting me.